Disclaimer. This video is only made for educational purposes, and it includes some stuff you might don't want to hear about. So if you are a soft-hearted person, you can skip this video.
On December 4th, 1872, a ship named Mary Celeste was found abandoned in the ocean of the Azorian Islands. When the British ship Dei Grazia with its captain David Morehouse departed for sailing in the same route with Mary Celeste, they found a ship approaching towards them. And that ship was Mary Celeste. David Morehouse suspected the moment of the ship and tried to send the signals by expecting a response. Mary Celeste was departed from its destination 8 days ago, and it was already supposed to reach at its destination by now. When the captain of the ship Dei Grazia didn't got any response from the ship, he decided to send his 2 crew members to investigate Mary Celeste. They then climbed aboard and found the ship deserted. The sails were partly set and in a poor condition, some missing altogether, and much of the rigging was damaged, with ropes hanging loosely over the sides. And mainly the boat's lifeboat was missing. Mary Celeste was having on board 10 people in total, including their captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah Briggs, and their daughter Sophia Briggs, with 7 other crew members. But the interesting part was that none of them were found during the investigation of the ship. So what actually happened on the ship? Why it was abandoned by its members? Is something actually wrong with the ship? Let's get started, and let me tell the story of the cursed ship Mary Celeste. The incident which I was just talking about was not the only incident happened with the ship. The ship had a very terrible past. It all started in 1860 when ship was not known as Mary Celeste. The real name of the ship was Amazon. The ship was built at the shipyard of Joshua Dewis in the village of Spencer's Island, on the shores of the Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia. The ship was almost 100 feet in length. Amazon was owned by a local consortium of 9 people, headed by Dewis. Among the co-owners was Robert McClellan, the ship's first captain. For her maiden voyage in June 1861, Amazon sailed to 5 islands, Nova Scotia, to take on a cargo of timber for passage across the Atlantic to London. After supervising the ship's loading, Captain McClellan fell ill, but everybody thought it's normal until his condition worsened. The Amazon returned to Spencer's Island for the treatment of Captain, but he died on June 19th and didn't survive. After McClellan, John Nutting Parker took over as captain and resumed the voyage to London, in the course of which Amazon encountered further misadventures. She collided with fishing equipment in the Narrows off Eastport, and after leaving London, it ran into another ship that got completely destroyed. But Mary Celeste was not even 10% hurt. When the ship went for fueling, the fueling port was caught by a fire, and the whole port was turned into ashes except Mary Celeste. Parker remained in command for 2 years, during which Amazon worked mainly in the West Indies trade. She crossed the Atlantic to France in November 1861. In 1863, Parker was succeeded by William Thompson, who remained in command until 1867. In October 1867, at Cape Breton Island, Amazon was driven ashore in a storm and was so badly damaged that her owners abandoned her as a wreck. On October 15th, Alexander McBean found the Amazon at the ashore and announced himself as the owner of the ship. Within a month, McBean sold the wreck to a local businessman, Richard W. Haynes, an American mariner from New York. Haynes paid $1,750 for the wreck and then spent $8,825 restoring it. He made himself her captain and, in December 1868, registered her under a new name, Mary Celeste. The ship underwent a major refit, costing $10,000, which enlarged her considerably. And the ship was giving a new captain, Benjamin Spooner Briggs. The ship's name was changed because of its bad reputation in the market. But changing its name didn't change its destiny. After a few years, when the ship resumed its work on the morning of Tuesday, November 5th, Mary Celeste left Pier 50 with Briggs, his wife and daughter, and 7 crew members, and moved into New York Harbor. The weather was uncertain, and Briggs decided to wait for better conditions. He anchored the ship just off Staten Island. The weather eased 2 days later, and Mary Celeste left the harbor and entered the Atlantic. But on December 5th, 1872, a British ship named Dei Grazia was sailing in Azores Ocean towards its destination Gibraltar, when they saw a ship approaching towards them, which was Mary Celeste. The ship's erratic movements and the odd set of her sails led the captain of the British ship, David Morehouse, suspect that something was wrong, and the captain sent the signals from its side to the other ship, and he received no reply to his signals, so he sent his 2 crew mates on the ship to investigate. Mary Celeste was completely empty with no life on it. The lifeboat of the ship was also missing. They also found the ship's daily log in the mate's cabin, and its final entry was dated at 8 a.m. on November 25th, 9 days earlier. There were no obvious signs of fire or violence at the ship, as they also found the personal belongings of the crew members on the ship that were untouched, so there were no signs of piracy. Captain Morehouse decided to take the ship with him as he knew under the maritime law, a salvor could expect a substantial share of the combined value of rescued vessel and cargo, the exact award depending on the degree of danger inherent in the salvaging. He could get over $5,000 as a reward. In today's date, that will be $3 million. And Morehouse divided De Grazia's crew of 8 between the 2 vessels, sending 2 experienced seamen to Mary Celeste while he and 4 others remained on De Grazia. The weather was relatively calm for most of the way to Gibraltar, but each ship was seriously undercrewed and progress was slow. De Grazia reached Gibraltar on December 12th. Mary Celeste had encountered fog and arrived on the following morning, and everyone got to know about the missing crew members of Mary Celeste. The salvage court hearings began in Gibraltar on December 17, 1872. The court ordered an examination on Mary Celeste, which was led by John Austin. He found cuts on each side of the bow, caused, he thought, by a sharp instrument, and found possible traces of blood on the captain's sword. They also found ship's broken pump, which stays in the bottom of the ship, as it was filled 4 feet of water. Many theories started spreading for Mary Celeste, such as the ship was approached by aliens, or it was attacked by sea monster, or it was looted by a group of pirates. But the 2 theories that everyone started believing was: theory number 1, Captain Morehouse was suspected to kill all the crew members of Mary Celeste to get the salvage as reward. Theory number 2, abandoning. The ship was approached by a sea tornado or a sea quake, which broke the pump of the ship, which stays in the bottom, and the bottom of the ship started filling with the water, while the other side, the alcohol barrels on the ship, started leaking due to the pressure of water and its dust particles, which created a smoke inside the ship. And the crew members realized that the ship can explode anytime, so they decided to abandon the ship and jump into the lifeboat. But the lifeboat too didn't survive in the dangerous ocean, and that's why we never heard from them again, and the ship was found abandoned. Captain Morehouse was rewarded with $8,000, still less than he deserves because he was a suspect too. After the court case, the ship changed the owners again. Whoever used by the owner of the ship was used to regularly lose money. Every other owner used to sell the ship by losing the money. In 1879, during sailing near Indian Ocean route, another captain fallen ill and later died in the journey. The ship was named as Cursed Ship by now, as it was the 3rd time a captain died on the ship prematurely. Now, the new captain of the ship was Gilman C. Parker. Parker knew about the past of the Mary Celeste, and he had no intentions to sail the ship. He had an intention of getting an insurance claim from the ship. Parker conspired with a group of Boston shippers who filled Mary Celeste with a largely worthless cargo, misrepresented on the ship's manifest as valuable goods, and insured for US $30,000. On December 16th, Parker took the ship with him to Haiti and set the ship on fire and drowned the ship. The ship's insurers began a thorough investigation, which soon revealed the truth behind the Parker's plan. And Parker was caught by the court, and also charged for mistreating the rules. Parker had to pay a lot of fine that got him into a huge debt. Parker turned into a madman due to the poverty and later died in few weeks. Finally, the cursed ship Mary Celeste was somehow destroyed. Thanks for watching the video. We'll meet you in the next video with more crazy incidents and stories. If you have any suggestions for the content, that you can comment below. I will definitely try to work on it.